If there's one group of people that's being accused of not having earned their ranks, it would be content creators. Naturally, if you are putting yourself out there for everyone to follow your career, then you're gonna have to take a lot of criticism, whether justified or not. And a lot of these accusations are also rooted in the dislike for creators who make themselves look better than they really are. Popular community figures who have the reach to get in contact with genuinely good players do like to use that advantage and play in a rating that's higher than what they would achieve if they were entirely on their own. But whether we're talking about content creators or just your average Joe, the question as to whether someone who plays in a stack earned their rating or not is something that's frequently discussed. And that's what I want to focus on today. Did somebody who religiously plays in a stack earn their rank in the same way a solo queuer did? And what do we have to consider when talking about the legitimacy of somebody's rank? Well, let's find out. In order to start things simple, let's keep the boosted streamer argument for later, and first focus on the more standard type of stacking, duo queuing with a friend who is around your own rating. If Reddit was to be believed, then a player who religiously duo queues fundamentally did not earn their rating the way a solo queuer did. And subsequently, those players are considered worse in the sense of not only their rating, but also their gameplay. But why is that? Well, it is my belief that these types of comments are primarily rooted in bitterness. Climbing the ladder is annoying enough as is, but trying to do it alone can be more frustrating than necessary. If you then see others do it with more ease, then you feel treated a bit unfairly. That other person had to put less effort to get the same rank as me. That's not fair. But putting bitterness aside, there is reason behind differentiating between solo ratings and team ratings. And you are probably familiar with that if you played something like Heroes of the Storm, or I assume any other MOBA on the market. But even if you haven't, what is your usual response to facing off against a 6-stack on ladder, or hell, even in quick play? You feel like the matchmaker messed up, don't you? What we associate with full stacks is a higher level of coordination. Coordination which in MOBA type games, shooters, and especially in games as team reliant as Overwatch can make a massive difference. So many players feel like they are put into a match that they can't win. We instantly assume that this team played together a lot and that our team of solo queuers will never be able to match their level of coordination, even if we might be mechanically better. So we are suddenly put into this weird situation where, yes, we acknowledge that these players probably have a good idea of how the game should be played, because they had the chance to practice and play together with players whom they know of that they are decent. But simultaneously, we don't want these players on our own team. But why is that? Shouldn't these guys know exactly how to play the game properly? Well, the issue here is that in an environment that's primarily ruled by solo queue, the players adapt to this type of environment. To make it short, rather than trying to learn how to play the game properly, we learn how to play around the mistakes of our teammates. We expect everyone to be garbage and we assume that we have to put in twice the work to get a win. So if those guys are in our ratings, we expect them to not know how to handle a solo queue match. We think that they are only good when playing in a full group. Which means that even if that 6-stack knows how to play the game properly, if they are allowed to 6-stack on the same ladder as all the solo queuers, then their matches for them are gonna be that much easier. Again, they are playing against uncoordinated teams of players who are put together by the matchmaking system. So naturally, the 6-stack does not have to put in as much effort when playing together as what they would have to display when going solo. But okay, let's simplify all of that gibberish. Long story short here is that a 6-stack of platinums might as well roll over your team of diamond solo queuers, simply because they are more coordinated. You might be individually stronger, but their team play is on an entirely different level. That does, however, mean that this platinum 6-stack can get away with, well, playing like platinums on an individual level. So here is the problem. These guys are getting into diamond together and then go on to solo queue. Individually, they are still at a platinum level, and they have no idea how to play in this rating in a solo queue environment, and that simply means they are underperforming. And that, my friends, is why you would usually differentiate between solo queue and team queue. And it honestly still astonishes me how after how long has it been now? Almost 2 years? The devs still did not introduce a dedicated team queue, and instead they allow players to either participate in matches that are inherently broken, or you end up playing against the same 6-stack for most of your session if you are 6-stacking yourself. At any rate, what I'm trying to prove here, next to the necessity of a dedicated team queue, is that logically these things cannot possibly apply for our duo queue. Synergy between two individuals can go a long way in winning more matches, that is true, but you you don't have the same impact on the outcome of a match as you would have when you go with a full stack. Furthermore, you are also subjected to the same environment as everyone else who decides to play solo. You still have to deal with a matchmaking lottery, you are still going to get teammates who underperform, and let's not ignore the impact that throwers and leavers have. So why is it then that we treat duo queues almost the same as a full stack? Well, you could argue that the same issues become apparent but to a lesser degree, and that in specific circumstances. There are a few heroes passive enough that they would lend themselves to simply function as an amplifier for their duo partner. That's to say that, for example, you are pocketing a Pharah when playing Mercy, and that all game long. Not the best idea in higher ratings, but it can certainly go a long way to go through a bunch of the lower ones. And if we also consider smurf accounts where players deliberately try to boost someone's elo in exchange for a pocket heal, then we can swiftly find the culprit for the bad reputation surrounding duo queues. Which is why the real rank, to many, can only be achieved in solo queue. Now, if you, I, and the next guy are all honest to ourselves, we are perfectly aware of the fact that this is a massive dick measuring contest, and that's really all there's to it. If we ignore cases of players who will literally do nothing but pocket their DPS duo smurf, there's not much of a difference between the experience you have in solo versus duo queue. You are merely trying to reduce the impact of the matchmaking lottery, which very frequently likes to give you more of a challenge than you are willing to take. And if you are stupid enough to think that your rank is more valid because you are willingly suffering through more RNG than someone else, then you got a whole different set of problems to deal with. Bottom line here is that people are bitter and they like to imagine that they are better than others. Yes, we should have a place for people to 6-stack and not subject ourselves to getting stomped by someone who very obviously has a massive advantage when we play in solo. But ultimately, losing more matches because of RNG does not necessarily make you a better player. You're not in the wrong if you try to create better matches for yourself by playing with somebody you have great synergy with. Don't be an idiot, don't play solo just so you can say that your 3200 rank is better than someone else's 3200 rank. Because honestly, nobody gives a shit. Just play the game. And when it comes to the accusation of content creators only getting a higher rank because of their ability to find others who boost them, I mean, that's kind of its own story. A lot of people think they are better than a YouTuber or streamer because, hey, they can watch them play and see how they mess up. What most people don't do, however, is watch themselves mess up. You see, if you try to review your own gameplay from memory, you are very likely to only remember extreme cases where you either did really well or where you got absolutely destroyed. But I guarantee that if you were to sit down and review a bunch of your own games for the first time, you would find yourself make a lot of mistakes that add up to something quite substantial. Honestly, I didn't even know how bad I was at this game before I started making videos on it. When it comes to content creators, it's again the dick measuring contest that just really bugs me. It's difficult for me to feel bad for somebody who's being cold boosted when all they do is talk about how good they are, and I never understood why they did it anyway. How does it help me if I sit there and talk about how I'm a GM player because I fucking touched the bottom end of 4K? Do I get more views, more subs, more ad revenue, or do I just try to compete with others who are also in 4K? It's nonsensical. Don't sell yourself for more than you are. That's how you avoid bullshit like that. In case you didn't notice, yeah, I'm not a GM player. I mean, I've played more mystery heroes than ranked since like season 5 or so there's that. At any rate, I called a day here, so thank you everybody so much for watching. Feel free to leave all of your thoughts and opinions on the subject in question down in the comment section below. While you're down there, don't forget to leave me a like on your way out if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you want to see more, and I hope to see you all next time.